Welcome back to another video on Odd Things Repaired. So in this video what I'm going to do is I want to make myself a bench test rig for the TD5 ECU, NNN and MSB. So I'm just starting to tinker with these. I used to do a lot of electronics, I used to do a lot of programming, and I'm just getting more interested in playing with ECUs. So it is literally what I want to do is take an ECU, black plug, don't ask, and just to buy cheap plugs off of eBay. I only want that bit, so I just want to do the wiring so I can basically power the ECU up on the bench, pull the maps out of the triple ends, read the MSBs. I am going to convert this MSB to a programmable over the ODB2 port, but that's will be in a later video. So all this video is going to be is literally making your bench test rig so you can plug an ECU in on the bench, and just test it from a point of view of readability. It's not going to wire up all of the red plug with your sensors and your injector outputs, but I just thought I'd make something and show you the little journey, and the fact that for a couple of quid you can certainly play with programming ECUs. I'll be it really, I'll take you on the journey to the bench. So I bought this on eBay. First I need to look it up, and I'll put up on the screen for what adapter it is, but it was just the cheapest ODB2 adapter I could find that gave me a female plug. So I thought it was just injection molded, but it has got screws in it, because you're only going to really need a couple of pins to talk to an ECU. I'm not looking this up, so I'm doing this off the top of my head, so I might have to put some stuff on the screen, but effectively you need sort of the K-line, ground, power, so that's about it really. So this was just the easy way of me getting basically a plug with a bit of wire on it that I can put into my own box to make as an adapter for me. So I'll unsolder all these wires off there, switch the soldering iron on, which is something I didn't do. Right, there's going to be a little pause here. I need to just let the soldering iron heat up, go and get some water for the sponge. So nothing but the best mineral water for my soldering sponge, and obviously me. It's refreshing. Okay. It's always good to put a bit of solder onto you. You're never supposed to do that really, but a bit of solder on the tip just so I've got heat transfer onto this plug. All I want to do is take the wires off. Because they won't be needed. Well, the plug won't be needed, but the wires will. There. That gets rid of that. And I've got hopefully enough wires. Once I know what the pins are on here. You can see those actually. So let's just go and work out which pins are which that I need for talking to the TD5 ECU, and hopefully this adapter that I bought it blind will do the job. Okay, I've made a little drawing. I'll put probably a better one up on the screen, or at the end of the video I'll just put some stills up of proper drawings. So basically this is the socket as is on the vehicle, which is what we've got here. So that's what we're looking to do. So chassis ground, signal ground, K line is what we need to talk to the ECU, L line different sort of ECU, we're not going to use 15, and 16 is the vehicle battery positive. So what I'm going to do is just write down here whatever the colours are on here for when I solder this up in a box. So I'll put that slightly out of shot. What I did treat myself to is a pin removing set, which again I'll put a picture of this up. Quite useful if you're de-pinning stuff, but nice little tools like that, which means I can poke it down here and use it on my tester. So I'm going for this first one here, which is pin 4. Poke that in. Oop, fell out. Okay, so that's now in. Just means I can touch the test leads onto some metal fairly easily. Oh, what I could do is find the clips from my test leads, so I could clip it on. That'd be more sensible, wouldn't it? And they're up on the shelf here. I always forget I've got these, you know. That's better. That means I haven't got to struggle with lots of different hands. So we're on pin 4. Just want to see what colour it is. No red, no yellow. So it's black. I'll just check it's not that. Okay, so pin 4 is black. Oh, I need a pen. Let me grab a pen. Okie dokie. So what was it again? Pin 4 was black, wasn't it? There we go. So now we'll move that over to pin 5. And again. Now I'll retest the wires because to make sure. Oh, look. They're just shorted out, aren't they? So 4 and 5 in here are actually shorted together. So that is black. So the chassis ground and the signal ground are shorted together. Ground, okay. So then we're looking at pin 7. You know what? The test leads I've got, the most expensive one, I think I've said this before, most expensive test leads I've got are with this fluke meter, and they're the worst leads of all the meters I've got. Right. So we're now on pin 7. And I'm going to test the leads again. Nothing. Looks like it's brown and yellow. There's brown and yellow. You never know with these Chinese things, do you? What is that? All right. I'm going into pin 16. Blue. Okay, so pin 16 is blue. So we've got brown, yellow, black and blue. So theoretically the red one should be the L line on pin 15. Plug that into there. Just checking nothing else on it. Okay, so the L line is the red one, which we're not going to use for this. Oh, there we go. Oh yeah, right, so black plug of the ECU. It has what, 36 pins on it. So there you go. So I've just worked out which pins I need to talk to the ECU. So I'll show you. Right, there you go. I will I'll draw this up and make it better for screenshots or downloads or whatever. So what I noticed was, so I'm looking at it that way. So I'm going to need the pins. Pin 1 or 24 on the ECU goes to pin 4 or 5 on the ODB port, so that's effectively ground. So basically on here you're looking at pin 1 and pin 24, and they're both black. So there's a B and a B, black. Then I'm going to use pin 3. So yeah, pin 3, which is going to pin 16, which is, if I remember, the positive battery. And that's colour code NO, which is brown orange. I'll show you that in a minute. And then I've got pin 33, which is the fourth one back along here, and that comes out. Now on this plug it's white, on the Defender it's white green. So if you've got a plug off from scrapyard, because a lot of people sell the ECUs, so that you see someone on Facebook Marketplace or eBay or something, they're scrapping a car, Disco 2 normally, but they've already sold the ECU. It's still worth sort of seeing whether you can go and chop the plug off the Loom. So yeah, so pin 33, which is the switch live. So I will be on my little rig putting a little switch that goes to the live, so I can basically turn the ignition off and on. I will have another switch which basically connects the battery, disconnects the battery, and that will go through a fuse up to my bench power supply. So yeah, so I noticed that Defender, white green, Disco white, pin 19, which is the K line, so that's the data. And on the plug, I noticed there's a little moulding point just below pin 19, and I said, this is where I thought, huh? Because I was looking it up on the Defender diagram and saw YK, which was yellow and pink, or pink yellow, yeah, so yellow pink. But on here I thought it doesn't look right, So when I looked at pin 19, it was this one. That's going to show up very well on here, but it was definitely not the colours I had. But then on the disco diagram, it was colour code WS, which I've got paper here which I'll show you in a second. So WS, which was white and slate, so white, slate, grey. On the disco one, yeah, it's exactly the same colours, it's just Land Rover colours. I will just show you these two diagrams in a minute. So yeah, so that's pin 19, which is in K line. So now I've basically got 19, which on the plug I've got is that colour. We'll be going to pin 7, which from the previous diagram, I'll have to look because it's written on the other side of this pad. So yeah, pin 7 we know is going to yellow and brown on the DBT port. Pin 33 is going through a switch to short with pin 16, which is set at 3, and that was blue. So 3 is obviously going to blue, 1 or 24 to 4 or 5. So basically they're both ground, they're both ground. I should probably just bridge those two together and those two together. So that'll be black, fun enough, going to black. Actually, I will have a look on the diagram and just see what the difference is between pin 1 and pin 24. So I'll just pause that there. I'll go look that up and tell you. Yeah, I looked it up. So pin 1 is, according to the circuit, earth 1. Pin 2 is earth number 4. Pin 24 is earth number 3, and pin 25 is earth number 2. So I don't know whether they should all be earth for the point of this rig, but it wouldn't hurt, would it? Because they're all supposed to be connected to earth anyway. But I'll do some digging before I solder them all together. So yeah, that's that on there. I've done some documents. What I'll do is I'll put these on as actual screen grabs at the end of the video, and if I make a load of documents, I'll put them in a zip file for downloading off the website, and I'll put the link in the description. So any papers or stills I put on the screen, you can download for your own use. Cool. So it's now just the rat's nest, and we'll start picking out the wires I'm going to use. What I'm going to do is that the ones I'm going to use, I'm going to pull into a little loom and wire them up. But the ones I'm not using currently, I'll leave them out so I can still get to them if I want to. Because there's all sorts of things on here, like setting cruise control on and off and all that. So I might do a video on that actually. I'll see whether you can actually do a quick mod on your TD5 to give it cruise control. I don't know, to be honest. So I've only just started playing with these. I'm a bit late to the party, as they say. But anyway, we'll see how we get on. So I'm designing as I go and thinking. So what my thoughts were originally, drill a couple of holes in there. So I've got power in, the ODBT port in there. I mean, I should have bought a chassis mounted OBD2 port. Anyway, doesn't matter. So then it was like, I thought, oh no, I'll have various wires sticking out the back for different ECUs. So I thought, oh, just, I'll have a TD5 one, I'm thinking one for TD4, Peugeot, Audi, whatever. And then I thought, oh, I'll put a DIN socket on for things I haven't thought about on the way out. And then I thought, well, why don't I just put a DIN socket on anyway? So that's what I'm going to do, because out of my junk box I've got a DIN socket, I've got a couple of plugs, so one of these will be wired up to this for the TD5 one, and then I can wire another one up for other ECUs. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to mount that on there. I'm going to have isolation on off. I'll have another ignition on, ignition off switch. I'll put a fuse in here, so I can just basically have a power lead up to a bench power supply. I found that in my jump box as well. I thought that's pretty cool to do. I like the toggle switch, but it's knackered. Nothing connects to anything when it's in there. But you can see it's like old wafer switches. Crazy, aren't they? Anyway, so that's what I'm going to do now. Otherwise, I'm not actually going to do it now. I'm going to go and have my Sunday dinner. Well, I'm back on my little bench rig for powering up ECUs. So, just come into the garage to drill the holes. I'll show you. So that's the box it's going to go in. I've sort of measured out where I want the holes. I'm not going to show you me drilling holes in something, but this has been our tape mounted, so I'm going to clean all this first and then mark it up, drill the holes. I'll show you when it's done. There we go, all marked out, all drilled, and back to the other bench. What the fuck is wrong with my fucking eyes? I've got fucking surfing. I think I used to do microelectronics. Working on things you could hardly see. Now I can't even see things that are fucking massive. Oh man, I really need some new glasses. I just can't see at all. It's like the focal length of the glasses is wrong. I need to be closer to it so I can use my hands. But then I can't see. Nah, fuck it. Do it tomorrow when I'm fresh.